Well, for AI chip, the Turing chip, I think for us it is a very important part of our core AI strategy. I think as we move into, I would say, the era of AI mobility technology, having your own chip as well as your own model are critical to that development. The reason we're having our own chip design is because we recognize that some of the general chips are not as efficient, as capable when combined to our own model. And with our own capability, we can actually design more advanced chipset that has better and more efficient computing that coupled with our own large models. At the same time, at a much lower price point.
Who's going to be making this chip?
Well, right now it's a chip that we are designing in-house. We haven't obviously commented on any of the fab names yet.
Now, China has encouraged automakers to secure more chips domestically to reduce the reliance on chip imports. How is your supply chain and where are your chips made?
Well, right now we are working with chip suppliers all over the world. We work with NVIDIA, we work with Qualcomm and other big names. So I think the chips will come from their fabs around the world as well. We're constantly monitoring, obviously, the situation on supply chain. Right now, we're pretty comfortable the way that we have, sort of established the relationship with these suppliers. But obviously, the world's changing very fast, so we have to keep a very close eye on it.
Xpeng has aggressive expansion plans. You guys are breaking through into new markets across Europe, Poland, Switzerland, the Czech Republic. You're going to be having coverage across 6 Gulf countries, across Africa as well. These are aggressive expansion plans amid an aggressive trade war that is playing out. How are you going to be managing your expansion plans with what's going on in the world?
Well, first of all, I think we still see a huge opportunity in the global markets. Our entry into the new markets last year, we're now currently selling in more than 30 countries, have seen tremendous response and feedback on our products. People love the design, the technology, the quality, the feel of our products. So we have a very strong, I would say, confidence that our products are welcomed in these international markets. And this year, as you indicated, we have plans to double the number of markets we serve and sell, as well as double potentially the delivery number as well as revenue from international markets. But to achieve that, as you pointed out, we need to be very, very focused on building our core capabilities, building local brand capabilities, local service sales capabilities, as well as potentially local production in some core markets. So by investing more and being aligned with your local partners and your market and customers, I think we can have a much stronger stance against all the volatilities in the world.
Xpeng got slapped with an additional tariff from the EU market, 21.3% last year. You are investing in production in Europe. Is this to help minimize the impact from those duties? And as supply chains and production sites realign, where do you see the need for your manufacturing sites?
Well, I think as a company that has global aspirations, we always believe that if you want to be a leader in the local markets, you have to be local. That's why we think inevitably we have to have local production in core markets, not every market, the core markets we target, and also working with local partners to build up that supply chain as well as service and sales capabilities. So right now, as you saw that we are entering Europe, Southeast Asia, potentially Latin America. All these markets, I think in the future will need to have local capabilities, including production.
Where would you consider to be your core market?
Right now, our products are very appreciated in some of the more advanced EV markets, given the technology, I would say, innovation, as well as the quality, and also our premium brand positioning. So some of the large markets in Europe, Nordics, which is one of the most penetrated EV market, some of the mature Western European market, as well as in Southeast Asia, as well as Middle East. Some of those markets with need or demand for premium, high quality, technologically advanced products will do very well.
The EU and China will imminently start discussions on setting minimum prices for Chinese EV imports. What do you hope to come out of this?
Well, first of all, I think it's always good that countries are talking to each other, and we welcome any measure that lowers the entry barrier for our products. So we're monitoring closely, and I think given our product is positioned as a premium brand, and also we actually last year is actually the best-selling Chinese brand above 40,000 euro in price. I think we will do well in this new framework, but we're watching it very closely, hoping to see more progress.
Xpeng is also boasting to be the top-selling EV brand by delivery volume in overseas sales. Overseas markets currently make up about 13% of sales. You're projecting 50% by 2033. Which region is going to be leading that growth, and which will be your biggest offshore market?
I would say there are a lot of markets that has tremendous potential. Right now, Europe is our largest international market, given its development in EV penetration and also the more consumer preference for EV products. But we saw last year also huge growth in Southeast Asia. In fact, Southeast Asia is the only international region that's growing faster than China in EV growth last year. So we have a lot of hope in that region as well. And also Latin America, it's also a huge automotive market. And at the same time, I see some of the Chinese brands are doing well. So we also have high hopes that will become a core market for us as well.
In terms of deliveries in the first quarter, Xpeng exceeded its own forecast, 94,000 vehicles for the first quarter. What is the outlook for deliveries amid this U.S.-China trade war and a sluggish Chinese economy?
Well, in our delivery forecasts, we do not have any contribution from North American market. So the direct impact of the U.S.-China tariff is, I would say, not material or pretty much not zero, I would say. But we're closely monitoring, obviously, this impact on the economy, impact on supply chain. So we are doing all the necessary sort of preparations as well as mitigation things that we can to ensure we have a smooth supply chain, as well as some of the address the demand weakness potentially. But right now, we're actually still very confident that we can hit our annual goals that we stated early this year. And I think right now we are on a very good trajectory.
As we head into the end of the month in April, there's going to be a Politburo meeting, and analysts are expecting some sort of a Chinese support stimulus to be announced as we head into that Politburo meeting. How do you expect this to boost confidence in the market, boost consumer demand?
Well, I think it will have a very important impact on the consumer, on the economy. I think government taking decisive actions to address some of the potential slowdown in export, as well as stimulate domestic consumption, is always good. And as a company that auto is also a consumption, I think we'll hope to benefit from this overall growth in Chinese consumption spending.
Every time I speak to you, I always ask you about your break-even target. Now, it is meant and set for this year, 2025. With all that's going on, with the tariff war, has that impacted your target for breaking even this year?
Right. I think, Emily, I think we've been talking for 3 years now. I don't think we have ever changed the date of break-even. I think I'm still sticking to that. So we look to break even by the end of this year, maybe on a quarterly basis, and hoping to do that consistently thereafter.